Let me set a scene for you. Many years ago, I was living in East Tennessee, and a lover of mine who I remain friends with, who's an extraordinary woman, she was like, "Hey, let's go hiking up in the forests or woods of, East Tennessee." And she did that kind of thing normally. And I didn't really want to do it because I'm not an outdoors person, I'm an urban person. But, she was just the most beautiful and charming person and authentic. Couldn't, if she told a lie, her head would have fallen off of her body. She was the most honest and loving and nurturing person. She was incredible. So if I was like, yeah, yeah, okay, let's go hiking. All right, fine. So we go up into these mountains of East Tennessee, and man, it was fucking glorious. It was just glorious. It was like there was an incline to the woods, so you're just kind of like slowly going up, and it's East Tennessee, so the foliage is incredible. There's just a canopy of trees and just this beautiful path of like, it's a dirt path and it's dry, but there are leaves, and you're just walking through nature. And it was like everything that like Walden and Thoreau and literature are talking about. You just felt so at one with nature, and not just that, but like, like a return to your roots as a human being. And like, we come from the dirt and we return to the dirt, and here we are. And I was walking up this beautiful path in East Tennessee with the most amazing lover you could possibly imagine. Just an incredible human being. And then we get to the top of this, where we were going, and it wasn't like some big, mountaintop or something. It was just a nice place. And then she was like, maybe we should turn around, and I was like, okay. So we turned around, and then we started going down the mountain, and then it was daylight, but just so much light could come through the canopy of trees, and it was so glorious. And then it began to rain, but because there was so much canopy, the rain came down in this sort of like sprinkle, like a magic, like you were in a magic movie. It was incredible. So then I started jogging down the pathway, leaving my lover behind me, but she didn't mind because she could see like my childlike joy of being in the mountains of East Tennessee with her. And anyway, that was a glorious, glorious day. And then we got back to her place, and I had the most amazing rest of the day and night, and next day and next night, and it was just the best. It was just the best. And that's probably the kind of moment that gets stuck in amber in your mind, where you think about the greatest moments of your life. That was one of the greatest moments of my life. On top of that, I had just gotten divorced. Not just, but I'd been divorced for just a smidge, and it was one of the hardest times in my life. And so this particular lover was there for me in a way that very, in a way that you would want, in a way that you would want in a time of pain. And I had no pain when I was with her. And the only reason that that relationship didn't work out is because we were living in different states. Otherwise, I probably would have married her that week, and would have remained married with her for the rest of my life. Maybe hope, what I mean? Who knows? It was just a geography situation. And anyway, I'm not telling this story to tell you a romance. Um, I'm telling you a story about hiking. because because then years passed on, and then I had some other lovers, and I was engaged to this person and that person, and then I had some other relationships that I could never keep together because whatever, all my relationships start out so full of hope, and then one thing leads to another, and then they just don't work out. And I'm not saying that that's going to be the case always. It's just I can't seem to keep a relationship together forever. And that's sad to me because I have friends who are with the person that they've been with since high school or college or, or since they were 30 or something, and they have been together forever or 20 years. And I have this one couple of friends in California. I told them once, I was like, man, you guys are screwed because you can never split up. You guys are so, if you guys split up, you'll never, ever be happy. And I told them that, and not because of that. Then they got engaged and they got married and they had a kid. And I'm not trying to take any credit for that. I'm just saying that I could see in them that they needed to be together forever, no matter what. And I have friends like that. They just have to be together forever, no matter what. And man, I can't tell you how envious I am of that. I am the most envious person in the entire world when I see a couple who are together forever, and maybe like it's not perfect, and maybe there's not enough of this in the relationship anymore, and maybe there's not enough of that in the relationship anymore, and maybe they've struggled with this and that. But whatever, that love is forever for them, and that's extraordinary. I once knew this guy. I worked with this guy in Daytona Beach once. I worked at the newspaper in Daytona Beach once, and so I was talking to this guy. This is back when I was a smoker. I haven't smoked in decades. So I was outside smoking a cigarette with this guy, and I go, "So how long have you been married?" And this guy, really great guy, I loved him. He was so good. And he goes, "We've been together for like, I think he said like 24 years or 30 years or something, a long time." It was 24. I think it was 24 years, 25 years. And I go, wow, that's amazing. I go, my marriage only lasted 9 years, and that seemed like a pretty, like a real victory. 9 years seemed like a victory, and I wanted to be with that wife for the rest of my life. And it destroyed me that it didn't work out. Destroyed me that it didn't work out. So I told this guy that, and then he goes, yeah, he goes, well, the key to marriage is you just have to like hang in there during the bad years. He didn't say like bad weeks or bad months or bad days. He said you have to hang in there during the bad years. And I go, well, how many bad years have you had in your marriage? And he goes, oh, like 4. And I was like, oh my God, you've had 4 bad years out of 20, whatever. Well, that's a sizable percentage of your years that are gone that sucked. And he was like, yeah, but, we got through it and we love each other and now we're happy every day. How do you do that? How do you hang in there that long? I don't know. I have no idea how you hang in there that long. How how do you do it? I can't figure it out. I don't know how to get through the hard times like that, you know? I just think like, oh my God, if I if I stay in this relationship another day, it's just gonna kill. I'm dying of this relationship. I don't know. I guess, I mean, everybody's built differently. So there are people that can just hang in there, and there are people who just can't hang in there. There are people that can just put up with things, and other people who can't put up with things. And then, and then we all have our own psychological problems. I've been in therapy for years because I have abandonment issues, because my mom and my dad abandoned me, and I was raised mostly by my grandmother and my brother and my sister, which was not fair to my brother and sister and grandmom, of course, and most of all, not to me. And now I've got these abandonment issues. But everybody's got issues. So, I don't know how people make relationships work for 20 years. I've made relationships work for 9 years and 6 years and 2.5 years and 2.5 years and another 2.5 years and a year and 8 months and 6 months and on and on. I've made a lot of in 8 months. I've had a lot of long relationships with people, consensual, monogamous relationships where, we didn't, cheat. I mean, I always assume that they're not cheating. I never cheat. I never have affairs. I never have emotional affairs. I never do any of that bullshit. When I'm in a relationship, I'm just trying and trying and trying to make that relationship work. I'm just trying to make it work. And then other people, they're not trying anything. They're just doing it. That's the other thing. It's like people get in relationships and they're just like, I don't have to try. I just do. It's like they're like they're Mr. Miyagi and like Karate Kid, like, or Yoda and Star Trek, Star Wars. They're just like, do not try, do, or whatever the whole thing is. It's just like there are people that just can make their marriages work and they can make their relationships work. I have friends that are in open relationships that have been together for decades and swingers that have been in relationships for decades, and the stats show that swingers and people in open relationships have the exact same divorce rates as people who are in traditional marriages. So that's, no matter what. I'm just so envious of all of you who can make a relationship last forever. Anyway, I started this whole story because I wanted to talk about hiking. Because last year, in 2022, I just kept going hiking and 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 hiking. And it was exhausting. And I just eventually couldn't go hiking one more day. I had not another day of hiking. And then people are like, oh, but you looked so happy. And, I mean, to some degree, of course I was happy. I was in a relationship and I was doing something for someone, And so when you're trying to do something for someone and you're trying to nurture a person in a relationship, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to try. It makes you feel good to be there and to like really, not be closed-minded, because you never know when one day, maybe you've always hated eating tomatoes your whole life, but suddenly you try one day and then, oh my God, you love tomatoes. Suddenly, that happened to me with green olives last year. I've always hated green olives, always. And then I tried some new green olive, and 3 months ago, 2 months ago, and I loved it. And then I went to the store and I bought jars and jars of green olives, and then for like 4 straight weeks, I was just eating nothing but green olives over and over again. So you never know when your tastes are going to change, and that's why I went hiking. I went hiking because, for the same reason that I tried olives every few years, and the same reason I tried tomatoes every few years, because you can't just never try. And then on top of that, I was just trying to be good in a relationship. And so I was always very honest about not loving hiking. I thought I was publicly saying that I didn't generally love hiking, but that I was having a good time, or here's some happy pictures. And then once I was like, nope, I still hate hiking. Then I just basically stopped going and stopped posting anything about it. And then, for a variety of separate reasons, then or whatever, I don't have to get into that relationship. The relationship ended, and it wasn't because of hiking. To me, if you ask me, it was about a lot of things, but it was not about hiking. So that's my hiking story, is that I went hiking a lot, and I was, just trying to be a good partner. I was trying to nurture the relationship. I was trying to nurture life. I was trying to enjoy life. And I don't love hiking, but I'll always have moments like in Tennessee, and then I had 1 or 2 moments last year, and those were nice. And all the rest I didn't like. And that's that. And that's my hiking story. I love you very much, and I hope you're having just the greatest day.